and the Iraqi national flag obviously being shown there in that celebratory mood. We have a correspondent, Altaf Ahmad, who joins us right now. Altaf, I'm sure you were stuck in some of that traffic, I'm guessing, but tell us what you're seeing there on the ground.
Well, honestly, Kaveh, this is very reminiscent of the celebrations that we saw take place in the city of Mosul, which was liberated just a couple of months ago completely. This is the same sort of celebrations that we saw, parades. People went down to the streets and they were parading the streets of the city of Mosul. Today we see the Iraqi people celebrating and parading around in the streets of the Orange city of Kirkuk, which has for years now, even decades, had been an issue of dispute between the Iraqi central government and the semi-autonomous Kurdistan region. As you know, in recent months, the Kurds had pushed for basically annexing the city of Kirkuk to their semi-autonomous Kurdistan region north of Iraq. This was namely evident due to basically having forced the city of Kirkuk, or having plotted with the governor of Kirkuk, who is himself a Kurd, for the participation of the city of Kirkuk in a Kurdish secession vote, a very controversial one in defiance of the Iraqi central government. The city of Kirkuk itself is made up of a very mosaic, really portrait of what the Iraqi society really looks like. It is made up of different ethnicities, of Arabs, Turkmen, of Christians, Muslims, of Shabak, of Izadis, of Kurds as well. So it was a lot of the people who were here had protested for a very long time, living under the rule of one particular ethnicity, and that being the Kurdish ethnicity or the Kurdish rule. So this is why you see that the people here are celebrating the fact that they no longer have to be under the rule of the Kurdish Peshmerga or the Kurdish forces who had been deployed in the city since June 2014, but rather are now basically the city is under the control, or security is being implemented by the Iraqi sovereign forces. For many of the people here, they are celebrating the fact that Kirkuk is an Iraqi city. It is not a Kurdish city. It's not part of Iraq's semi-autonomous Kurdistan region. This is why you see a lot of them are raising the Iraqi flag rather than their ethnic flag, an ethnic flag such as the flag of the Kurds or the flag of Iraqi Kurdistan, which we saw raised in the city of Kirkuk in defiance of the central government. So for hours now, these parades have been sweeping through the city of Kirkuk at the heels of the news which came out about the Iraqi forces taking full control and recapturing from the grip of the Kurdish Peshmerga the oil wells of Baba Gurgur and Bay Hassan, as well as the military base K1 and Kirkuk airport as well, in addition to a number of other vital nodes in the city as well. The Iraqi forces have also taken control of all of the checkpoints, all of the main entries to the city of Kirkuk. The Kurdish Peshmerga are nowhere to be seen. The withdrawal of the Kurdish Peshmerga was quite peaceful, we can say, despite the news that came out yesterday about some clashes taking place, some on and off clashes taking place, namely in the district of Tuz Khormatu, which is a predominantly Turkmen district lying 88 kilometers from Kirkuk. We saw some bloody clashes there. However, in the city of Kirkuk itself, we have heard little to no reports of such clashes, and the withdrawal of the Kurds was somewhat peaceful. This is why you see a lot of the people here are celebrating. Not only they're not only made of one ethnicity, Arab or Turkmen, but rather they are people from the city of Kirkuk who have long rejected being annexed to a Kurdish state, and rather were insisting to continue to be part of a greater Iraq. In recent months, the Kurdish secession vote really put a lot of the people here on their tiptoes, because they were worried about having or being forcefully, basically forced to live under the rule of a Kurdish independent state, especially after we saw the Kurdish separation vote or the Kurdish secession vote, which raised a lot of eyebrows, and where we saw the Kurds basically hold this secession referendum in the city of Kirkuk as well. So for many of the people here, they were worried because they were thinking to themselves that maybe they're going to wake up someday and they're going to be citizens of a Kurdish independent state, when in reality they are Iraqi. So this is why you see such a great turnout on the streets today. They are celebrating the return of the Iraqi sovereign troops. The Iraqi sovereign troops have since June 2014 have had a minimal presence in the city of Kirkuk. They were namely distracted by the major battles that were taking place in different parts of the country. However, after the liberation of the city of Mosul, the capital of Daesh is proclaimed the city which the Takfiris claim was the capital of their proclaimed caliphate, and the other cities as well, the predominantly Turkmen city of Tal Afar and the district of Hawija just several days ago. This is why you see that now the Iraqi forces are further focused on implementing security, internal security inside of Iraq. They are no longer distracted by the foreign aggressions or the foreign challenges that were the foreign security crises that were gripping the country in recent years.
So do you have any idea how long the Iraqi forces are going to remain in the city? And also, if you can tell us about, I mean, it's pretty obvious how the people feel, but have you had a chance to talk to the residents there? And do you get a sense that for now it's okay, but maybe later that there might be, I don't know, some kind of friction or crisis coming out of this? Or are we looking at the situation remaining as it is in terms of the celebratory mood that we're seeing there on the streets as we speak?
I don't think we're going to see the Iraqi forces withdraw from the city of Kirkuk anytime soon. I think they're here to stay this time, especially as we know that the reason they were forced out of Kirkuk was the fact that Daesh Takfiri terrorists were spread in different parts of the country, north and west of the country. They were forced to focus on the battles that were taking place in different cities all over Iraq, in the cities of Fallujah, Ramadi, Heat, Haditha, and Anbar province west of the country, in the city of Tikrit in Salah ad-Din province in the center of the country, in the city of Mosul in Nineveh province, as well as the districts of Bashiqa, Bartilla, Karakosh, Khosh, these regions which are known to be the heartland of Iraqi Christians, the predominantly Turkmen city of Tal Afar. The Iraqi forces have been swamped with the battles, but now as we see that the Iraqi forces they only have very little strongholds, or the remaining holdouts for Daesh Takfiri terrorists in Iraq are very limited, namely they are limited to the districts of Rawa, Ana, Rutba and Al-Qa'im, which lay 450 kilometers away from the Iraqi capital Baghdad along the Iraqi-Syrian borders. So now it seems that the Iraqi forces are going to really show their capability of maintaining internal security. Also, I think we're going to see that the Iraqi forces are going to try and use the experiences that they have gained while fighting Daesh in recent years, in the past 4 years, in combating terrorism and security breaches which are conducted by sleeper cells inside the country, or the remaining sleeper cells inside the country. I think they're going to use the intelligence experience that they have, the combat experience, the guerrilla warfare tactics experience, so many of the skills that they have gained, and they have the experiences they have garnered in the past 4 years fighting the Takfiris on the battlefield. They're going to start using them to basically maintain internal security. I don't think the Iraqi forces are expected or are going to retreat from this city anytime soon, and I don't think honestly that we could expect ethnic-based infighting or sectarian-based infighting in Iraq, but rather I think from now on the situation is going to be more calm. And I think for the government of Mr. Abadi, of Prime Minister Haidar al-Abadi himself, this is considered to be yet another victory for the government of Mr. Abadi, in addition to the liberation of much of the Iraqi territory under the control of Daesh, or leading the battles, basically being the commander-in-chief of armed forces, leading the battles which saw the liberation liberation of much of the Iraqi territory from the grip of Daesh, and then also spearheading the campaign of reform in Iraq's political system, shaping up and merging a lot of the ministries in the country as well, and now maintaining and showing the Iraqi government's capability of maintaining internal security. This is yet another challenge and another victory, I think, scored and recorded in the record of Mr. Haidar al-Abadi and the government he leads. And I think this is going to play a huge role in coming elections. We know that the Iraqi parliamentary elections are right around the corner, so I think this is going to leave a mark on those elections as well. But for now, as you can see, the people here are very happy. They're celebrating. They know that the Iraqi forces are here to stay. And talking to many of them, we heard a lot of stories about the suffering that they faced, the discrimination that they faced, the ethnic-based discrimination that they faced from the Kurdish forces who were deployed in the city of Kirkuk since June 2014 and until today. This is why you see it's like a siege has been broken in recent weeks as well. Following the Kurdish secession vote, the tensions rose to a completely different level. We even saw the Kurdish Peshmerga forces and reports even from provincial councils here that different families from Arab, Turkmen ethnicities, as well as from the Christian minority group, as well as the Shabak and the Azadis, were being forced to get out of Kirkuk and to leave their city after they had lived here for tens of years. As you can see, people are raising the peace sign, they're celebrating, and again, they're raising the flag, the Iraqi flag. They are raising also the flag of the Iraqi Popular Mobilization Units. Maintaining security here in the Iraqi city of Kirkuk has been mainly the task of the Iraqi Federal Police, the Iraqi Army, the counterterrorism forces, and the emergency response units. However, they have received support from the Popular Mobilization Units, though the Popular Mobilization Units were not spearheading the campaign. Basically, they were supporting the Iraqi forces in their advance to retake control of the oil fields which were controlled by the Kurdish Peshmerga, and of the checkpoints and entries as well, which were being controlled by the Kurds as well.
Very well, thank you very much for that. We appreciate it. Altaf Ahmad there live at the scene in Kirkuk. Celebrations taking place with the people there and the residents coming out to celebrate the Iraqi army's gains, which that is one of them. Their presence there in Kirkuk shows the way that they have received the army, which in turn means a reflection of the central government there in Iraq and how people there perceive that central government, along with the fact that that obviously spells security for that region, which could have been